What's up guys, it's Colin Coates from Built2Wander. We're spending the next few days working on our 2020 3rd Gen Toyota Tacoma that we initially had planned to build for this year's SEMA Show. Unfortunately, the 2020 SEMA Show has been canceled, but we're not letting that stop us from building one badass lifted Tacoma. Follow along as we begin the transformation on our brand new 3rd Gen Toyota Tacoma build. We're up in Denver, Colorado at Toytec Lifts installing their all-new Aluma Series suspension system with 2.5-inch Toytec shocks on all 4 corners. Coupled with a set of Total Chaos front, upper, and lower control arms, this will be a true mid-travel suspension system with 3 inches of total lift height. We're going to take you through all of the components that are included with Toytec's suspension system and highlight some of the differences between Toytec's lift and the stock components. We'll also shed some light on the other components that we plan on integrating into this build, including a set of 35-inch Nitto Tire Ridge Grapplers. So we've shown you guys these components from Toytec suspension being installed underneath our 3rd Gen Tacoma build that we're working on. You know, it's clear that these components all add up to create a nice suspension system that results in a lift. But what's not clear is what is the real main difference between these components in stock. So beyond, you know, achieving a nice lift and having additional ground clearance or having the ability to throw a larger tire underneath your truck, there are some serious differences between Toytec's components and even Total Chaos Fabrication's front, upper, and lower control arms over stock that create a lot of advantages both on and off-road. So we'll start with the front coilovers. These are Bilstein monotube shocks. They're steel body, 1.25 inch diameter with a fixed coil spring. There's no height adjustability. You know, you cannot rebuild these. So at the end of their life, you pretty much have to toss them out, buy new ones. The coilovers that come with Toytec's Aluma series, as the name would suggest, they're aluminum body shocks, 2.5-inch diameter. They're massive compared to stock. They also have this adjustability collar, so you can adjust the height. It also has a nice remote reservoir that allows for, you know, more dissipation of heat. It basically keeps that oil inside the shock much cooler, which allows you to go harder and faster both on and off roads. So along with your coilovers up front, you've got your control arms. We went ahead and replaced both upper and lower control arms with Total Chaos Fabrication arms. Doing so allowed us to really get like a true mid-travel suspension system out of this vehicle. There's some big differences between the two. This is the front factory control arm. It's stamped steel. It's got a ball joint and also these rubber bushings impregnated with steel sleeves. When the vehicle articulates, they act as if like it's a rubber band. So when they articulate, they want to come back to that neutral position. Whereas with the Total Chaos arm, it's got these polyurethane bushings with a steel sleeve insert. So really, they flex more and they allow the coilover to do more of the work to basically soften that ride and make for a smoother ride quality. Not to mention these Total Chaos arms are made out of DOM tubing. They've got beautiful welds, and there's a uniball here instead of a ball joint, which is inherently stronger, but also rebuildable. So moving on, we've got our lower control arms. Again, this is our factory lower control arm in the front. We've got a ball joint. We've got these rubber bushings impregnated with steel sleeve inserts. And then it's all stamped steel with some sloppy welds. And then you've got Total Chaos's lower control arm. This thing is basically a piece of art. If you take time to really look at the welds, you know, they're done just beautifully. And it's got polyurethane bushings with the steel sleeve inserts. The uniball, again, a lot stronger than your standard ball joint. All of those components are rebuildable. It's got a strike pad for your bump stop and 1/4-inch tabs for your lower shock mount, which are much stronger comparatively, even visually so, to the stock control arm. So they're meant to take the abuse. And if you look at the bottom of this lower control arm, it's nice and flat, and it basically acts as a skid plate. So you get into the rocks while you're off-road, and this thing will just take the beating. It'll take a lot of force to really, you know, upset one of these arms. So moving on to the rear suspension, Toytec provides this nice progressive out-of-leaf pack. The nice thing is it's a low arch application, so it's not gonna impact your ride quality. And essentially this thing is what provides your lift in the rear. When added with the factory leaf pack, it actually makes it a little bit stronger too, so you get some more durability out of your leafs in the rear. And then here's our stock shock in the rear. It's 1.25 inches, again, just like that front shock. It's not rebuildable, steel body, so it's gonna rust and basically turn to junk over time. And if you look at Toytec's Aluma Series rear shock next to it, I mean, the size difference is pretty massive. This is a 2.5-inch body shock, aluminum body, so better heat dissipation, and also it's rebuildable. So this thing's gonna last a lot longer. So the last piece that we added to the rear suspension is this airbag from Firestone. We actually pair it with a cradle. So the cradle mounts to the axle, the airbag mounts underneath the frame rail. So it doesn't limit your articulation at all. The two are separate. Basically, when you're loaded down, you've got a ton of weight in the back, or you're pulling a trailer, you can add air to this, maintain that ride quality that you get out of Toytec suspension. This particular build, you know, the owner, he's an avid hunter. He's gonna spend days at a time out in the backcountry here in Colorado. You know, he'll have a bed rack, a rooftop tent, and all the gear he's gonna need to survive out there. So we fully anticipate that truck being loaded down quite a bit of time. So having these airbags just gives us that adjustability, allows us to keep that ride quality dialed in when we're fully loaded down. But again, he gets home, removes all that gear from the truck, pulls the air out of his airbags, and it's like they're not even there. With this aftermarket lift kit, you're obviously getting, you know, greater durability in your components and improved ride quality. When you lift your vehicle and you're changing out all of these components, you're adding a bigger, heavier wheel and tire combination. The key is that you can actually achieve the same great ride that you get from the factory, if not better, with a comprehensive suspension system like what you see here from Toytec Lifts. So we planned this build around a 35-inch Nitto Tire Ridge Grappler. We're here at Toytec. We just got the suspension installed. The foundation is in place. Next is wheels and tires. I think most people on these 3rd-gen Toyota Tacomas, they go with the 33. It's a little bit easier to fit under there, a lot less trimming required, if any at all. So having that 35 allows us to go a little bit bigger. It requires a little bit more work, but the last thing we want to do is stand in with the rest of the crowd. The owner, he's an avid hunter. He spends a lot of time in the backcountry here in Colorado. So having that slightly bigger tire, not only does it give him more ground clearance, but it really gives him the confidence to get out, hit some harder trails, get to those harder to reach spots. We picked the Ridge Grappler because it's a great balance between street and trail, and we wanted something that would be a nice, comfortable ride on the daily.
What's up, guys? I'm Ethan Panariso, and this is my 3rd-gen Tacoma build. And I just got up to Colin's place. We're getting ready to go hit a trail for the first time. I just picked up the truck last night at Toytec. They put an amazing lift on there. And here's a cool thing. So we're going to try and hit a local trail. And Colin just introduced me to Onyx OffRoad. And here's the even better part. I've been using Onyx Hunt for like the past 3 years because I'm an avid hunter, love to hunt, and this Tacoma build was designed to get me into those hard to reach places so that I can go hunting everywhere that I want to go. And Onyx OffRoad has got everything you need to actually go get there. And listen, when you want to go do the hobbies that you love, you need the right equipment. We're gonna go test out this suspension and we'll see you on the trail.
So we're making our way down the Mount Baldy Trail here up Old Stage Road, and just outside of Colorado Springs. Fortunately, we were able to turn to Onyx OffRoad and find a nearby trail. Only took us about 45 minutes to get out here, so it's clear that Ethan's having a blast in his truck. The suspension's doing well. We're gonna talk to him and really get some of his feedback and initial impressions. But even on stock wheels and tires, this thing is doing great.
So my first impressions of the suspension, amazing. You know, I've never dreamed about taking a trail so stinking fast, and the suspension gobbled it all up. You know, Colin's in front of me and he's smashing this trail and I'm staying with him, and I never thought that was possible. But the suspension, it did everything that I needed it to do and more. And honestly, that's why I called Colin with Built2Wander. This is a dream truck for me. Putting everything on it, I couldn't trust anyone else to get it done right. I'm super excited to head on down to 3D Offroad, where we're gonna knock out phase 2 of this build so I can wreak havoc on the trail. When this truck is all said and done, I'm gonna be Built2Wander.
Guys, thanks for following along and checking out our newly lifted 3rd gen Toyota Tacoma. We really appreciate the folks at Toytec Lifts and enjoyed spending a couple of days in their shop with them, getting their Aluma Series suspension system dialed in on our Tacoma build. We have plans to add a set of 35-inch Nitto Tire Ridge Grapplers, some new wheels, armor, and lighting as well. Stay tuned for more as we execute phase 2 and show you guys how this truck transforms into a total beast. It'll be ready in just a few weeks, just in time for hunting season to hit some of Colorado's toughest trails in the backcountry. Drop us a note below and let us know what you think of our new lift kit from Toytec Lifts and Total Chaos Fabrication. If you've got a 3rd gen Toyota Tacoma build, let us know what you've done that we should consider adding to our truck as well. As always, hit the like button if you did and subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, wander on.